Fulcher, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the information I have does not concur with that last exchange. I've got a couple of questions for Commissioner DeYoung. Commissioner DeYoung, in your testimony, you mentioned Representative DeFazio's bill, or H.R. 980, reflects a continuation of efforts to shut down access to abundant natural resources in Josephine and other rural Oregon counties. And as you note, environmental activists have largely shut down responsible timber harvesting and necessary forest management through frivolous litigation, onerous regulation, and now they've turned their attention to critical minerals, which we all know is a big problem for our nation in getting those minerals. Would you share, Mr. DeYoung, would you share with the committee how passage of this bill would impact jobs, revenue, and the overall economic stability of your county?
Well, I thank you very much for the question. I think we've already been impacted at considerable length because of the spotted owl 50 years ago, 40 years ago. I was born and raised right here in Josephine County, so I've seen the timber industry all the way from back that long. My statement would be that we have been in the timber industry here for almost 200 years. And if we've been doing it so wrong, why is we all of a sudden we just haul everything in time? We have not stripped the land of its natural resources or its renewable resources for that matter. But with the timber industry gone, as I said in my testimony, that all the mills are gone. And that was a source of jobs, not only for the truck drivers, but the tire shops and the diesel mechanics and the mills in general. But because of the shutdown of the forest, we were done. Now, we just also mentioned the critical mineral tellurium, which recently has come into play in the manufacture of solar panels and solar batteries and things that we know is going to be on the horizon. Well, we've got the indications that we've got a pretty good supply of that here. And if any of this goes through, all of a sudden we've stopped all that mineral exploration from here on out. I am told by our mineral people that the tellurium harvest will not be anything close to the Hannah Nickel mine up in the Douglas County area. I heard testimony just a second ago about it brought the nickel situation here. We've had chrome mines in Josephine County since time began, and some of them were open pit minings, but they don't have to be. I'm insured by this, and there's all kinds of legislation and rules and stuff. These mines don't just pop up and say we're going to start digging. There's a whole plethora of things they need to go through in order to get permission to drill or to drill, dig, whatever they're going to do to harvest these minerals. I just don't want to start at square one and shut it off before we even know what the potential is here. I can go through a number of different things that the forest system did for us. First off, closing all the roads formerly used for logging. That prevents fire crews from getting into the fires in our remote areas when they start from lightning. We're in a very steep terrain type situation. You don't just fly borate bombers down between these canyons. We have wind gusts. The Chetco wind started in the Kalmiopsis wilderness area with a fire in the Kalmiopsis, and everybody knew the Chetco winds were going to go downstream and go right towards Curry County, but we just let it burn because it was in the Kalmiopsis. It burned almost all the way to Brookings, and I don't know how many millions upon millions of board feet of natural resource timber it was destroyed. Now that's timber that belongs to the people of the United States of America, and they deserve to get the value out of that as a natural resource and a renewable resource. But they were slighted that, and then when we went to do salvage logging, we were only allowed to salvage log in Curry County roughly 2 to 3% of the burned logs. The rest of them are now standing there, and after 2 years, they're absolutely useless. You get no bids on that timber for black timber after 2 years. The environmental assessment takes 18 months. So this is just round two of what we have received in Josephine County and Southern Oregon, Southwestern Oregon for a long time. I am not a person that wants to see our waterways compromised in any way. I've been here. There was mentioned to Rough and Ready Creek in here that it being for, I think, kayaking and recreation. Rough and Ready Creek is dry 9 to 10 months out of the year. I don't know if anybody really came out here and took a look at Rough and Ready Creek, but it's a pile of rocks 9 out of 10 out of 12 months. So I hope that answers your question, sir. Anything else that I could expound on?
Just very briefly, I've only got about 10 seconds left. Mr. DeYoung, can you share, has there been any outreach from the sponsors of the legislation with your county leadership?
The only meeting, we had one meeting with Senator Commissioner, Congressman Fazio's staff about 8 months ago, and it was more of a meet and greet rather than a policy
Okay.
meeting.
All right. Thank you, Mr. DeYoung. Madam Chair, I'm out of time. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. Chair now recognizes Mr. Tonko.